Hello and welcome, I'm James Zimoha. You're watching African News. Let's see your headlines. Kenyan residents oppose planned US-linked Ebola facility. And livestock prices surge after Eid al-Adha in Côte d'Ivoire. And South Africa sends envoys abroad after xenophobic attacks. Now, residents in central Kenya are pushing back against plans for a US-linked Ebola quarantine facility near Nanyuki. The dispute has now reached the courts, with judges halting the project while demanding more details from the government. Here's more.
Residents of Nanyuki in central Kenya are opposing plans to establish a US-linked Ebola quarantine facility near their town, raising concerns about public safety and demanding more information from authorities. The proposed center was to be located at the Laikipia Air Force Base and used to quarantine people potentially exposed to Ebola in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Kenyan President William Ruto has defended the plan as part of the country's emergency preparedness and a strategic health partnership with the United States. However, it has faced growing criticism from local residents concerned about the risks of hosting a facility linked to one of the world's deadliest diseases.
I strongly oppose, because Ebola is a very contagious disease, extremely contagious. So you cannot go and import the disease here and bring it to us and tell us you're going to contain it. Totally unacceptable.
What we are seeing is making us sad. First, there's no community participation, which is the first thing they should have done. You just can't do things by force.
The dispute has now reached the courts. Kenya's High Court has ordered the government to disclose details of the project and suspended plans to establish the facility while a legal challenge is heard. The court has also extended a halt on the wider Kenya-US agreement until a final ruling is made.
Now, hundreds of demonstrators have protested in front of the main office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees in Tripoli, calling for tougher action against irregular migration in Libya. Protesters blamed migration for growing social and economic pressures amid ongoing challenges linked to years of conflict and political division in Libya. The demonstration was the largest in a series of recent protests against migrants in the North African country. UNHCR did not immediately respond for requests for comment. Now, Turkey's president has hosted Niger's leader in Ankara, where the two sides signed a series of agreements aimed at expanding cooperation. Adam Moro reports from Istanbul.
Turkey is strengthening its ties with Niger and Africa's wider Sahel region, with President Recep Tayyip Erdogan holding talks in Ankara on Thursday with the president of Niger, Abdurrahmane Chiani. Following the meeting, delegations from the two countries signed a range of agreements covering defense, security, trade, and economic cooperation. Speaking at a joint press conference, Erdogan reaffirmed Ankara's commitment to expanding its presence across Africa based on what he described as equal partnership, mutual respect, and common interest. The Turkish leader also voiced support for African countries confronting security challenges, especially those facing instability and militant violence in the Sahel region. Stretching across the southernmost latitudes of North Africa, from the Atlantic Ocean to the Red Sea, the Sahel region has undergone a profound political transformation in recent years. Since 2020, a series of military coups has swept across the region, beginning in Mali and later spreading to both Burkina Faso and Niger, where President Chiani rose to power in 2023. The three military-led governments have since withdrawn from the Economic Community of West African States, or ECOWAS, and formed a new regional bloc known as the Alliance of Sahel States. They have also significantly reduced military and political ties with the West, especially former colonial power France, while expanding relations with alternative partners, including Russia. Against this backdrop, Turkey has sought to expand its diplomatic, economic, and security footprint across the continent, presenting itself as a partner focused on development, infrastructure, trade, and defense cooperation. The agreement signed in Ankara on Thursday underscored the growing importance that both sides attach to their relationship at a time of major geopolitical realignment, especially in the Sahel region. This is Adam Morrow for A News in Istanbul, Turkey.
Now, livestock prices in Côte d'Ivoire have surged during this year's Tabaski period as disrupted supply routes from the Sahel exposed fragility in regional trade and left many households facing significantly higher costs.
Eid al-Adha, known locally as Tabaski, is one of the most important occasions in the Muslim calendar, bringing families together around the ritual sacrifice of livestock. In Côte d'Ivoire, it is both a major social and economic event, with demand for hundreds of thousands of sheep typically met through imports from Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. But this year, supply chains were disrupted, with livestock exports from Burkina Faso suspended amid regional insecurity and trade disruptions.
I've been here in this park since last week with 75 sheep, but I've still got 40 left, which means things aren't going well. Politicians need to agree to open the borders so that things can work. This time last year, I'd already sold about 100 sheep, but this year things aren't going well because I can't manage to sell the 75 sheep.
In Abidjan's livestock markets, prices rose sharply, with buyers describing difficulties securing animals for the celebration.
I'm actually quite disheartened because I went to buy an ox but couldn't. This ox isn't even 4 months old, yet they're asking for up to over $1,000. There are even oxen where they're asking for close to $2,000. I'm really disheartened, but I'm going to try my luck at other markets in Anyama or Port Bouet.
According to the Ivorian authorities, the country needs around 350,000 head of livestock to meet Tabaski demand, while domestic production covers only around a quarter, leaving it heavily reliant on imports from the Sahel.
We have gradually seen trade restricted across the sub-region. Take Benin and Niger, for example. There was the oil dispute. There are also issues between Côte d'Ivoire and Burkina Faso, and between Côte d'Ivoire and Mali. These are situations that do not reflect well on Africa, especially given the African Union's AFCFTA initiative. These are matters that should be resolved in advance because we need to promote the African common market.
In Abidjan's markets, traders and buyers are now adjusting to a more expensive Tabaski period shaped by disrupted supply chains and wider regional instability across West Africa.
Now, South Africa is moving to calm tensions after xenophobic attacks targeting foreign nationals. President Cyril Ramaphosa says Pretoria will send envoys across Africa and beyond to discuss migration and improve cooperation. Speaking alongside Kenyan President William Ruto in Pretoria, Ramaphosa said the initiative aims to create a more coordinated approach to migration management. He said the envoys would engage governments and key stakeholders as South Africa looks for broader cooperation on a sensitive regional issue.
The migration issue that South Africa is having to address at the moment, yes, we are considering a number of initiatives. And at the diplomatic level, we are talking to a number of sister countries on our continent with a view of getting more understanding, but beyond understanding the challenges that we face of getting various countries to work with us. What we seek to do is to get the issue of migration so broadly and properly addressed, and where we should get as many key role players, countries, leaders in countries to work together to address the challenge of migration.
Now, still in South Africa, rapid advances in AI and automation are raising fears of deeper unemployment. Factory roles and entry-level jobs or office jobs are under pressure, but supporters say the tech shift could create new industries and more work if the right choices are made.
Tanduleto Mbetsi wasted no time entering the job market. Straight out of school, she joined the Harambee Youth Employment Accelerator as a call center agent, helping connect young South Africans with work opportunities. At the time, artificial intelligence was still a distant concept.
I was afraid of it because, when you don't know what you don't know, it's like you don't know how this thing is programmed, the privacy part of things. Are you able, whatever that you ask, is it confidential? Will it come back and bite you?
It wasn't long before AI took the world by storm, entering offices and factory floors. Mbezi chose to adapt, learn new skills, and eventually work her way up to being a chatbot creator.
The chatbot that I'm currently creating is a chatbot that is called Coach Me. So that is like a digital coach whereby the guys or anyone that is using it, they just check in every day, doing their MITs. Those are most important tasks, checking their goals, how progressive their goals have been.
Harambe's move to introduce AI assistants helped agents access information faster, improve customer service, and create entirely new categories of work.
Today, not only do we have a team of chatbot engineers and prompt engineers that we have sourced all the way from that first time when they've come into the labour market in those low-skilled jobs, but we've had people progress from our team to other businesses that are in need of specific skill sets to run these AI systems in a way that benefits the business.
While some studies warn AI could wipe out low-skilled jobs, supporters argue the technology could also be a powerful tool for economic inclusion.
AI, instead of becoming a divider between the rich and the poor, can be the one that will close the gap. Because all of a sudden, anybody from the street can have the same possibility of somebody with much more possibilities than in the past. So I think that the government should look into making AI available to everybody.
All right, that's all we have for now. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned to A News.